You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you... Hey creative friends, it's Kamela here from Creative Moms Decant. Today I'm going to show you how to design and engrave your own image using Cricut Design Space. Let's go! So the first thing you're going to want to do is open 2 sessions of Cricut Design Space. And then if you've watched some of my other videos, you should have this already saved. I will link how to get this in right now so that you can click that video and see how to get this, and then come back to this video to see what we're going to do today. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Customize. And then I'm just going to copy this shape, and then I'm going to close out of this session of Cricut Design Space. And then this is the second session I opened, and I'm going to paste this shape in. And then I'm going to set it over to the side after I copy and paste it one more time. I like to have 2 sitting over here. So we've got 2 now to the side of our canvas. So now we want to get our circle in so that we can work inside of the size of our blank. So our circle is a 5 by 5. So let's grab a shape and a circle. And if we change the width to 5, the height will automatically change to 5. All right. So now we have that. I know I'm going to want some words or at least farmhouse. That's kind of what I'm going for. And I'm thinking a windmill. So I typed in farmhouse, and I'm going to pick a font. I almost always go straight to my Craft Chameleon fonts. I just am a big fan. And actually, this chunky boots, there's a big black boots. Where is it at? This one will be perfect for this project. So I'm also going to take the curve of this and go up with it. And I probably am going to need to shrink it. Let's go ahead and turn this shape that we're working on to white. That way we can kind of see what we're doing. Let's grab some more curve on this. And you don't want to quite work to your edges, so keep that in mind. Let's curve just a bit more. And then pull it down just a hair. All right, I'm going to release the curve. So it looks like I have a little more up here than down here. So I'm going to release my curve just a little bit. All right, so I'm happy with that. So now we're going to make the slats. So to do that, I'm going to grab a rectangle, grab a square and turn it into a rectangle. And I don't want to work too much larger than where I'm going to go, but just a hair will be fine. And then I'm going to grab another shape, a square. Let's turn this one to blue, and we'll know that blue is the one we're working with. And then we're going to use this square, and I'm going to turn it, and I want it larger than this shape, and I'm going to come in just at the angle I want. And then I'm going to select both of those and slice. All right, so we don't need this one. I want this one. I'll explain why in a minute. All right, so we got rid of everything. Now I want to flip this one and use it as my guide. So I'm going to flip it and I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to align everything centered. I'm going to align everything left align and then select both and slice. And now we have the perfect angle on both sides of our slat. All right, so we're going to need a piece to attach our slat. Let's work big again. I'm going to zoom our canvas in some. And I'm going to grab another shape, a square, and we're going to unlock and turn it to a rectangle. And we need a skinny stick this time. All right, so let's select both of those and align centered. And then this time, let's weld those together. I want that to be permanent. And it all turned blue, which is excellent, exactly what we want. All right, so let's copy and paste this a few times. All right, I grabbed 7. We'll see how many we need. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to select them all and just move them up here where we're working. That way I can get to them easier. And we should have sized first. So let's undo. All right, so now let's take our slat and move it up here into our design and take a look. So we know it's big, so we're going to have to resize here. I think that's still just a little big. So I'm going to stop around 1.5 inches. Let's just make it 1.5 inches even. All right. Yes, I'm liking that. And that is making our width 0.57 if you're with me. So let's copy this and paste it. And then we're going to start turning these in. So let's get a circle to work on so that things are even. It will just kind of help us and we'll get rid of it in a bit. I'm going to shrink my canvas size a bit. And I'm going to grab a circle here and place it where I think I'd want it. All right. Let's look at another one. And we'll do some adjusting as we go. All right, so I think as you go out, you're going to have to shrink them and change sizing just a little. I'm going to copy and paste this one. And then I'm going to flip it horizontally and place it over here. There we go. And let's paste another one and shrink it. just barely noticeable, smaller than the other one. All right, and I'm going to copy and paste, and then remember we want to flip this one horizontal and bring it over here. All right, so now we can actually decide what we want in the center of this and how we want it. So I think we're actually going to want a circle in this. And just moving those around just a little bit. I want some nice spacing in there. And the nice thing, in my opinion, about the farmhouse style is it can be a little rustic and it's actually perfect. And I can't wait to see this engraved. Let's select all of our blue shapes, our slates. So to do that, I'm going to go to the layers panel over here, hold down my shift key, and select each one of those slates. And I'm going to shrink them. We didn't get the last one. Undo. All right. So now let's try to shrink. There we go. We got them all. So I want to shrink them just a little. Oh, undo. And then if I'm happy with those, let's group them. So shift and click each one of them. You can do it over here or in the layers panel like we just did, and group. All right, now these will all move together. So that's great. Let's set those up here for a second. And let's look at this circle. I'm going to turn my circle into an oval by unlocking it. And then I'm going to stretch it over all of my little hooks that we made. And I want to look at that. All right, I think we're only going to want part of this circle. So I need to figure out exactly how much. I'm going to grab a helper shape. Let's go ahead and turn this circle to the blue that we're working with. And I'm going to decide where I want my circle to end. I'm going to say we're going to want it there. So I'm going to leave the square that I'm using selected and select the circle only. So shift key, circle, and slice. And then I'm going to get rid of the extra pieces. All right, and I think we are going to want one more slat. So that's why you group your group and don't do anything down here until you're done. So I'm going to ungroup this group and I'm going to copy and paste one more of these and get one more slat on our windmill. I'm going to go just a little bit bigger here. And I really think that this one needs to go a little bigger, so let's do that. All right, so now I am going to shift and select just these 4 pieces, and I'm going to copy them. And then I'm going to come over here and delete these, paste the ones we copied, and I'm going to flip these horizontal. Yes, that is awesome. Oops, undo. I love it. I think these have to lay right down with this base to get that to look right. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to twist these. So it's just playing with these shapes that you've made until you're happy with the way they look. And I'm really close to happy with the way mine looks. I'm kind of thinking we need to change up the font of our farmhouse saying. We definitely need a little something else to make this look like a windmill. All right, so we have two things we need to do. This needs to be a little more windmill, and we want to change up the font. Let's start with the font. So let's go back to text, and let's check out here. Let's try the goose cap and type in farm house. Yes, that I'm liking that much better. All right, so let's go ahead and hit weld. And that puts all those letters together as one. So that's great. And we can go ahead and weld that because we're done. I'm not going to play with it anymore. That looks great. We've got to get some movement, I think, into our windmill. So I'm going to straighten this one out just a little more. I think these have to be as straight with this edge as we can get them. And they don't have to be perfect for this design, but close. You know, we want it to look nice. All right. Little too slanty. Okay, so now to get some movement, we're going to get a circle and we're going to turn it blue. That's what we're working. That's the one we want, right? And then I'm going to grab another circle. And this one I'm going to go ahead and unlock. And I'm going to lay these up here where I'm going to want to get the movement. A little bit closer to the top. All right, and then I'm going to place this one that we unlocked and probably make it more oval and place it where how we want to here. All right, so now I'm going to select this black one and the blue one and slice. And that should at least get us started with some movement. Let's get rid of all of this. This is the sliver that we're going for. So we can unlock it and kind of start moving it around in here until we're happy with what we're getting. I don't want any of it sticking out down here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and weld all of this together. And it might be easiest to do that by moving the shape we've been working in and dragging a box over all of that and weld it together. Yes. So that's the movement I was looking for there. That is going to be neat. All right, and then our farmhouse goes on. And I think the sizing of everything is great, but I'm kind of looking at that. And I'm just going to see if I wanted to make that any bigger. All right, I don't want it to look like it's half, so I'm going to squeeze it up a little more and in. And remember, we don't want to be totally on the edge here. All right. And now I'm going to select everything and then I'm going to center. All right. Now we need to turn these things that we've done over here into little bitty lines so that we can engrave them. And that's where these helper shapes come in. So I'm going to grab one of these and I'm going to grab this. And remember, we like things turned on an angle. So I'm going to turn this purposely to the left, to this side, because that's kind of where our wind is going. So I want the lines to go this way. And I'm going to select both of those and slice. And sometimes things look wonky for a minute, but they will be okay. All right, so either one of these files we can use, or either one of these cut slices we can use, and it does not matter. All right, so now I'm going to put it back straight and get it in there. And we will center that in a second. Now we're ready to do this one. And I know I have another helper shape over here. All right, and now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to turn it the opposite direction, so this way, and quite a bit, and select both again. We don't want to weld, we want to slice. Select both and slice. And get rid of anything that's looking silly. You might hold on to things that don't look silly for a minute. All right, either one of these are good to go. And now we can turn it back in. All right. I think this is going to look great. I'm really excited. So I'm going to center all of this again. We don't want to mess that up. I'm going to check that my edges aren't too close. And I think that's all I needed to check on all of that. So now we're ready to get our helper shape in so that we know exactly how to place our blank on our mat. All right, so before we get our helper shape, we need to select all of this and we need to flip it horizontal. Now we can get our helper shape, grab a circle, and we want to make this circle teeny tiny. So 0.01, and we want it to engrave, and we want to place it at 0.25 and 0.25 for the Y coordinates. Now, this entire object we need to place at the 1 and the 1. And then we need to select our design and our helper shape and attach them. And now we're ready to head to make it. So everything's good here. Continue. So everything's good here. Continue. Browse all materials, and foil craftboard holographic is the best for my machine. I'm going to load my 41, my engraving tip, and get this ran through my machine. All right, let's unload our mat and see how we did here. So I put a piece of double-sided sticky tape underneath it. I just wasn't sure my net mat was sticky enough. All right, and then I like to use a little roll of painter's tape around my hand to pull those engraving shavings off with. So I just roll it around my hand with the sticky side out. And then I use that tape to kind of pull the shavings away from our engraving. All right, let's pull the paper backing off of the back side and see how we did. Oh, yes. Look at that. Okay. So there you can see. Isn't that pretty? Just a simple windmill and farmhouse design. Thank you so much for joining today. If you would give me a like, a comment, and a subscribe to our channel, it really helps us. Have a joyful day, friends. Thank you. Bye-bye.